It's one thing to not sleep well or at all for 2 nights in a row, but when you can't sleep for 3, 4, 5 nights a week, a month, life gets really scary and it feels like everything is at stake. In this video, I want to share with you some techniques, tools, and perspective that I've gained from the past 20 years of my life, moving in and out of different rounds of insomnia. I got insomnia for the first time since I was 19, and it seems to be just one of those teachers in my life that points me into the direction of greater alignment. So my hope for you is that by the end of this video, you feel hope for yourself and can start attuning to the things that resonate with you to help you move through this and become a more expanded, aligned version of yourself. So thank you so much for watching. You're gonna get some sleep. 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 Insomnia is, of course, the chronic inability to fall asleep or stay asleep. You can find statistics about the percentage of people who have trouble sleeping. It's high, and also not everybody sleeps great 7 nights a week, 7 out of 7. Most people have 1 night of, not so great sleep per week. So just know that. I want to redefine insomnia as a symptom of some misalignment in your life. Could be mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual. It's a message for you to wake up to something that needs attention, right? I want to just take the victimhood out of insomnia and invite you to see it as a messenger, as something that's happening for you and not to you. So let's just take a deep breath and just try and open up our perspective a bit as we talk about this, okay? And that's also just going to help relax our nervous system and our fear and tension around what's happening. Let's take an initial look at behavioral and dietary factors that could be throwing you off. The first is light, and Andrew Huberman talks a lot about light in his podcasts around sleep and light for optimal health. Getting light into our eyes first thing in the morning is super important, super duper important, and it helps us feel more alert throughout the day. So the first thing in the morning, I go out in the backyard with my hot cup of lemon water and I get the sun in my eyes, and either I'm looking into the sun or around the sun or in the garden, but the light is coming into my eyes. It's being reflected by everything around. So that's really important. That's also really great for your mood too. And I know our frequency definitely starts to slip when we're really exhausted and really fatigued. So it's so important to get sun in your eyes and on your skin too. And then the light before bed can really throw us off. Screen time 2 hours before bed is really the worst, and I've seen time and time again it disrupt my sleep and has hindered my ability to fall asleep for hours. So I really encourage you to eliminate screen time from your phone, even TV, the 2 hours before bed. Instead, do some kind of artistic, creative thing, read, there's journal, there's lots of things, spend time with a loved one. And if you have to be on your phone, use those blue blocking glasses. I even have, I'll show you later in the video, the extreme blue blocking glasses that are kind of like a reddish amber lens color. So light. Hi, I'm Imi. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I've just begun really to share on here in a greater way stories of my life's healing, and also my art, my music, my stories, and my channel, greater channel of what wants to come through to touch people's hearts. So thank you, welcome. Please like, subscribe, and share if you resonate with this kind of energetic frequency video. And we really want to be mindful of our caffeine intake and our cutoff times for ingesting drinks or food containing caffeine. You'd be surprised how long the half-life of caffeine a cup of coffee has. So even if we only feel the caffeine, the energy for a couple hours after drinking it, it might very well be in our system for 6 or 8 hours, depending how sensitive we are and how slow we are at metabolizing that caffeine. So for me, I don't drink any sort of caffeinated drinks or have cacao after 2 p.m. unless I'm open to not having such a great night of sleep and I know I'm going to be out late. But I think it's a really good idea, a good habit to, especially if you're not sleeping well, to not have caffeinated drinks after even 1 p.m. Another behavioral factor that can interfere with a good night's sleep is a daytime nap that's perhaps a bit too long, over 25-30 minutes. This can really suppress your adenosine. And adenosine is like a chemical that builds up in our body when we're really tired. And when we have caffeine, for instance, or take a nap, that adenosine is suppressed or relinquished a bit. So that like deep tiredness that we need to have when it's time to go to sleep isn't so strong anymore when you take a long nap. So definitely limit daytime naps. Also, as an aside, a behavioral factor that can hinder our sleep is when we don't sleep for 1 or 2 nights in a row and then we're reaching for energy. We're taking more caffeine into our bodies that day after not a good night's sleep, and we're ingesting way more caffeine than we're used to, and then all that caffeine is still in our body when it's time to go to sleep. So it's kind of becomes this downward cycle and we're really sabotaging ourselves. Or when we try to go to bed extra early because we haven't slept for days and there's nothing else to do and it's 6 or 7 o'clock and you try and get into bed, well, it throws your cycle off. So it's better not to change anything, even though you're exhausted, but to not change your diet, not change dramatically the amount of caffeine that you're taking in, or your bedtime or your wake time and your nap time during the day. So, of course, I'm not a physician, and please consult your physician before taking any kind of new supplement. But I do find that natural over-the-counter supplements do help me fall asleep. One is magnesium threonate, and the other one is apigenin. And these were recommended in the Huberman podcast around optimizing your sleep. So you can look those up. I know it's not good to be on melatonin for a sustained amount of time. And I also find that herbs like a skullcap tincture really helps me fall asleep. And for you, it might be valerian or passion flower, something like that. I encourage you to just get familiar with different flower extracts and tinctures and find one that really works for you. Alcohol is a no-no. That will definitely destroy your sleep and your ability to fall asleep. It just messes with the blood sugar way too much to make it even worth it, especially the 2 or 3 hours before bed, maybe even 4 hours before bed. I would not drink alcohol thinking that this is a natural way to help you sleep. And the last thing I want to share with you in this behavioral dietary section is the environment of your bedroom. It's really helpful to have a cold bedroom, a cool bedroom, a cool bed, and Wi-Fi off. If there's a router in your house, I would just unplug it. Make sure there's not a smart meter behind your bed like there was behind mine in this house that I moved into, and I had to remove it and change it into an analog meter. And I also use this pad on top of my mattress that has all these water tubules. It's called a chili cube, and there are other companies who make pads like this that are cooling pads, and you can turn it on and program the temperature that you want, and it makes the bed cold, and it's amazing. And I really am so grateful I figured that one out 2 summers ago or 2 springs ago when it started to get warm and I couldn't sleep anymore. So thank God for these cooling pads. Next, I want to give you my secret weapon, my favorite tool ever for moving through insomnia and daytime fatigue, and that is Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is an ancient meditation technique, and you're lying down in Shavasana on your back, your palms face up, and you listen to this meditation script, this guided voice, and it's guiding you to fall into a state of deep relaxation. And 45 minutes can be like 3 hours of sleep. So I'm a huge fan. I want to read for you the definition of Yoga Nidra that I found on the Amrit Institute. I love this yogi Amrit and his guided meditations in particular. So Yoga Nidra is an ancient sleep-based meditation technique that has the power to take you to the innermost, deepest levels of relaxation, where your whole body and being is permeated by peace of mind and profound stillness. It unlocks the mystical, integrative powers of the subconscious as well as your higher centers of consciousness to effortlessly erase your most tenacious, self-destructive habits and behavior patterns. It is said by yogis that 45 minutes of Yoga Nidra is as restorative as 3 hours of sleep. So try it out. Please try it out. Even if you have to do it 2, 3, 4 times a day, if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. And it gives you some energy to get done what you need to get done, and it calms the mind. And oftentimes when we're so exhausted and so fatigued, it's almost like we're too tired to sleep. Our yin is depleted, and we need some of that yin to sleep well. So I know we said earlier, I talked about avoiding naps that are too long, but this is actually, really, it can be really, really beneficial. This kind of meditation nap where you're not actually falling asleep. And if you fall asleep, that's fine too. You can try it in the middle of the night if you need help relaxing your nervous system, if you're feeling yourself getting tense around sleep and why am I not asleep yet and I've got so much to do tomorrow. Like, I know the mind can just start spinning. So what I do is I find these guided meditations on YouTube, and I'll link my favorites below, and then I download the MP3 of that guided meditation. I make a playlist in iTunes, for example, and I put it onto my phone, so I don't have to open up my computer, right? Like in the middle of the night, for example, I can just open my phone. It's on the dimmest of lights because my eyes are real sensitive at night or in the middle of the night. And I'll put my headphones or my iPods in and listen to this meditation in the middle of the night. Or upon awaking, if I didn't really fall asleep or wake up, if it's just morning and gotta get a little bit of restorative rest before my morning starts. So I really encourage you to try it out and spread the word. And also, it's a spiritual thing that builds awareness. So it's a bonus. It's a super incredible tool to use. All right, so we're at the most important part of this video, where I'm going to share with you the greater message that I have to share about insomnia. This is something that I've learned for myself, and this is something that you might not want to hear, probably don't want to hear. This is probably something that most people don't want to hear when they're going through insomnia. And this is repressed emotions. That's right. Maybe you've tried everything, like I tried everything, and nothing was working. Nothing was working for me. And I had to be reflected. I had to be given this message by a teacher of mine in Bali. And it was true. She was right. There were deeper issues in my life that I was not giving attention to, that were sort of festering. It's kind of like the water was boiling underneath me. I was in the boiling pot. And for me, there were issues of grief and anger and childhood issues that really needed to be resolved. And for me, I was so sensitive to this subtle unconscious, subconscious energy that it was affecting my sleep. So what I want to share with you in this part of the video is that perhaps this insomnia is really wanting to share with you a message of misalignment in some part of your life. And it could be you're unhappy with your job, you're unhappy with where you live, you're unhappy with who you live with right now. These are all huge things that can interfere with getting a good night's sleep, and they're valid. They need our attention. They need a big amount of our attention. So yeah, just consider that these other fixes, these other tools that we've talked about, and like behavioral dietary habits that we can have, that we can follow for a better night's sleep, might just be a band-aid for a greater issue in our life that needs to be resolved. And for me, my insomnia was a spiritual initiation. It was something bigger than one of these little dietary things. It was an initiation for me to go into my emotional past and to really cry and scream and feel and yeah, feel deeply into my life. So it's been a beautiful teacher for me. Like I've said, it's always been about something different. I've grown tremendously from it. It just continues to direct me to my path, to my higher path. I'll probably make more videos about what I just shared in the future, but for now, I just want to give a few more ideas about what you can do to move through your insomnia. The first is to clear your energy field. Maybe get some sage, get some Palo Santo or Copal or whatever sort of sacred smudge that you have access to, and clear your room and clear your bed and clear your field before going to sleep, and maybe upon arising too, because these days we are realizing more and more just how sensitive we are and just how empathic we are and how easily it is to pick up energy from the environment. Say you went to a grocery store and you're around dozens, hundreds of people. So it's important to just clear our energy field of all of the people we've been around during the day and all of their energy, emotional energy that we might have picked up in our being. So super important to clear the space. So these are called tuning forks, and I cannot travel without these. I use them as soon as I turn off my bedside light, right before I go to sleep. The 111 is for centering, the 136 is for grounding, and I bang them gently on my wrist and they start vibrating, and I put the ends on my sternum or on my third eye, and I just let the vibration go into my body, and I hear the vibration until it's finished. Another thing you can try is going to see a qualified healer that you feel drawn towards. Maybe there's an acupuncturist somebody's told you about that you might want to go visit, or a kinesiologist, or a chiropractor, or for me it was an acupuncturist, and I would recommend an acupuncturist just because they can read what maybe you have an organ or organ system that is deficient. So say, for example, they point to your liver and they say your liver's deficient in energy right now. Well, the liver is a place where we hold anger, right? So that might be a clue for you to look and think about, where are you holding anger? I find that a lot of healers can help point the way to what area of our life we need to put our attention to, and that might be the thing that helps us get a good night's sleep again. Another thing is to look at your astrology. I'm a huge fan of the Chani app. It is Western astrology, and you can put in your birth details and it tells you all about your chart and the transits that are occurring right now in your chart. And I find that astrology gives me so much perspective around what I'm being given to work with in this time of my life, this month or this week, diving into your art, diving into art in general can be such a potent way to transform all the feelings that come when we're not able to sleep. You know, how can we transform the pain into art? And this is so beautiful for yourself and for the whole world when you're really diving into the depths of you to find the treasures to put onto paper, onto the canvas, or into a song. It's deeply healing for ourselves. We don't have to share it with anybody at all. And it can be deeply healing for the world, you know, after in time. So I recommend picking up an instrument or dancing it out, something that's really embodied that can help you move the frustration and the energy. And that's it, beautiful hearts. I truly hope this video has been helpful for you, that you've learned things that you did not know about before. And I think that the biggest thing when struggling with insomnia, having a big insomnia moment in life, the biggest thing is to find your own way to soften, open, relax into the moment, relax into the tiredness, and really surrender into what's happening right now in your life. This is the biggest way to work with it, because it is trying to teach us something, right? It's trying to tell us something. It's happening for us, not to us. And I know this after 20 years of working with this insomnia, and it's come every once a year, maybe once every 2 or 3 years, and it comes for a month, sometimes 4 months. So I know, and I want you to move with this with so much grace and wisdom. I love you, and I pray for you the deepest night's sleeps that are so restful and rejuvenative, and that leave you feeling excited about your life and excited to keep on growing. See you in the next video.